That's how you do it. Pop it onto the rake. Lovely.
Use the rake and bounce it on.
That is nice, isn't it? Do you want to know how I did that?
Morning, y'all. Early morning start. We've got to get a torquay before all the golfers get there. Let's go. Morning, Matthew.
Morning.
Daily vlog today.
Ooh.
I'm going to talk top 5 backswing tips with you and Uncle Dan.
Oh, lovely.
I'm going to share tips.
Yeah.
Backswing styling. Question of the day. So people post in the comments down below. Auntie Becky and her boobs charity, link down there as well if you want to win all that swag that I've got going this week.
Ooh.
Auntie Becky, I always think she's like the auntie of the channel.
Yeah.
The channel's auntie.
Yeah, she is, yeah. She's a lovely lady.
What's your backswing trigger feel? What makes you feel like you put your backswing in a place that makes you play better? Post comments down below. That is today's question. So, top 5 backswing tips, Matt. Punch 5 iron, you ready for this? Stinger! Oh, you're welcome.
You haven't.
You are welcome.
Get up.
That is short. That's not a bad shot, actually.
Yeah, that is a good shot. Well
So
done.
Backswing was perfect. Backswing, top tip number 1, Matthew, of the top 5 backswing tips.
Whoa, top 5, top 1. This will be the best one as well, because I'm saying it. Grip and wrist matchups.
What do you mean by such terms?
I see lots of players coming in for lessons and will have maybe a strong grip, add lots of cupping, high wafty to the right shots. If you've got a strong grip, I like to see the fault being maybe an overdraw.
Yeah.
Makes it a lot easier for me
Yeah.
to correct that compared to someone that's working it out in such a funky way.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. When I see a strong grip overdraw, I think, yeah, well, that's what a strong grip in theory should do. This is easy. We just calm the grip down and then give you another feeling to manage what your delivery might be doing, and off we go. When you see a funky matchup, like you say, strong grip, so hooky grip, big cuts because of the wrist angles, my brain's thinking, wow, how have you got there?
You have got there, have you?
Yeah, so that's a bigger rethink then, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you like to see matchups.
But skillful if you're in target to still do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's it. People work it out in different ways.
Yeah.
So tip number 1, we like to see matchups between grips and wrist angles.
Wrist angles, so twists, basically.
I like that.
You're welcome. You know, that's what I'm here for.
Yeah.
So just spread the love and all.
You done?
know. Just got my 1 ball still from my last trip.
You spread a lot of love over Spain, didn't you? With
I
that?
did, yeah.
Balls, anyone? Balls?
Perhaps I should go and restock this afternoon and do some practice.
Got a top tip for me down for backswing, please. We're doing top 5 backswing tips today. What's your tip?
My tip is takeaway with different clubs.
Okay.
So having the setup, and I use it more in the shoulder lines.
Right.
So when I see players setting up with a driver, so I said takeaway there, but what I mean is backswing. So again, when I see players setting up to the ball a lot of the time with a wedge or a driver, it's almost the same. I see the same setup with people. I see shoulders almost a little bit back or shoulders slightly forward, and I want to start to see players sort of, you know, make a shift, whether they're using wedge, they're keeping their shoulders a little bit more what I would call flatter. When they're setting up with driver, I like to see a little bit of a tilt for a right-handed golfer more to the right-hand side, so almost using the shoulders as a little bit of a launch pad, I call it in my lessons.
So if you go top of your backswing and stop for me then, Dan, with the setup that you're saying that's different, obviously we then get different spine tilts from the wedge to the driver, which I guess might encourage different length swings and different speed swings.
For sure, yeah. So if you see when I get this a little bit of tilt, I'm almost tilting from here as well.
Yeah.
So what that allows me, well, that just helps me to just get a little bit more what I feel behind the ball.
Okay.
Okay, it will feel like that, but really it's just the spine tilting in this position.
Yeah.
With a wedge, keeping it a little bit more what I call flatter with the shoulders. This enables me not to be sort of too much behind the ball, but gets me to sort of stay more on top of the ball. So you'll see my spine won't be tilted quite as much at the top. It will look almost a little bit flatter.
Okay. I definitely see with amateurs, I agree with you there, one swing, all clubs.
Absolutely.
This is how I swing it.
Yeah.
Where I would not be swinging my wedge backswing wise the same as I swing my driver, and that is being encouraged, like you say there, through those different setup positions.
Driver, and they're very much on top of the ball.
Okay.
it almost sort of feel, I want to see them more behind the ball with a driver. Wedge, I want to see sort of a little bit more sort of a straighter spine position as you look sort of front on.
Absolutely. So this is something I do, and I totally agree with you. I'm very much this way with a driver.
Yeah.
Because I'm hitting up and out.
Yeah.
Where with a wedge, I'm definitely feeling more on top. And the reason being as well, I feel like I can hit it harder when I'm making this kind of run up, compared to if I'm going to turn what you say, like more stacking on top of the ball. I feel more controlled but slower. And obviously I'm trying to find an exact distance when I'm using wedges, 7 irons, 9 irons, kind of clubs with loft, where when I get to my driver, I'm at the end, I've got to just send it as far as I can. Obviously there's times when I won't be, which is when I will be turning more behind it. I like that, Dan.
Do you like that?
Good tip. Thank you very much. How's your overswing going, Matt?
You're the one with the overswing, aren't you?
Absolutely.
And you're one of the most consistent on the old Muppet tour, aren't you?
Oh, don't.
So, like, lots of people think it's wrong, but is it?
Well, I've always had deep arms.
Right.
Yeah, across my chest.
Yeah.
Like, my backswing goes until my arms kind of stop.
Yeah.
As a kid, it was always long.
You're a little cupped as well at the top, aren't you?
Fraction.
Which adds a little bit, but you're
Yeah.
very good at getting it out on the way down.
Yeah, the way down I actually going into extension, into flexion. So it's lots of people want to work on then stopping their. I mean, my dad's been working on stopping his overswing for about 4 years.
Yeah, and he plays better, you said as well.
Oh, he says, yeah. Well, if you play better, don't stop swinging. So, what are your thoughts on overswings or not? Top tips for people who are working on them.
I mean, is it something you need to work on? That's my first question.
Yeah.
And generally speaking, most lessons that I do, they don't need to stop it.
I don't see many overswing changes, so shorter to longer affect impact.
Yes.
As in, that's not strictly true. So a classic way of overswinging would be to add really poor wrist angles. That can make a club go a long way back, because often this arm will collapse as well when they put this in, and then often it comes out the hand and it starts getting long.
Yeah, like that.
So improving wrist angles then by definition makes it shorter. But it's not that you tried to make it shorter, you tried to change the wrist angle.
Because I swing to here and add those wrist angles in, I'm just changing the way that club looks, basically, and is positioned. But yeah, that's the first question that I always ask. Do you need to change it? And then if you do, because there's maybe a big extreme in there, like you're taking your hand off your grip, adding those funky wrists in, possibly talk about it and work out what it's changing down there to make you better.
So for me, I agree, overswings are often, because they're so visually clear, like they film themselves, oh, I'm swinging really long. The fix is never all swing shorter. It's often, it's wrist angles, or maybe just calm your hip movement down, like over rotation.
Yeah.
And then by product, you swing a little shorter, and then by product, because the wrist angles are improved, or you've turned a different amount, because obviously turning different amounts is going to create different low points, it's going to create different club paths as well, possibly. Yeah, I don't know many. Here's one for you then, right? Really strong grip, and then flatten your wrist angle as much as you can on the way back. How far back can you get? Yeah, do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't see many people that way, which is often the stronger way of hitting it.
Yeah.
Getting long. John Ram, those kind of people.
Yeah.
It's often weak grip, loosey, shaky Stevens legs, weak wrist angles that's making it flop a long way behind.
Yeah,
so the fix actually for me isn't often long or short. It's
my number one point.
Yeah, wrist angles.
And less turn possibly.
Yeah, if that
is the case, yeah.
So I'm going to carry on overswinging, is that right with everyone?
Yeah, I might start.
Pet peeves with backswing. I hate, and it's hard to de-teach this when you've got a student who does this. So when you start your swing, you're always going to be tilting slightly this way. So if I stand completely straight, as soon as I put one hand lower than the other, which you do on a golf club, my spine is going to tilt this way slightly.
Yes.
And then what happens is I will turn around that angle. Sometimes I'll increase it and sometimes I'll stay in that angle there or thereabout. Like you were just saying, from say a wedge or a lofted swing to a lesser lofted club swing. It's this one. So when the hips kick out and then you turn and the spine angle starts tilting the other way.
Yeah.
That one is so hard to de-teach. And I often find that one actually when people throw with their left hand. Did you know that?
Okay.
So they're right-handed golfers but throw with their left hand.
Yeah.
So I throw with my right hand, so I would naturally be doing shapes that I do with my golf swing.
Yeah.
But when you throw with your other hand, you should try it. It's odd, like you start, which way? It's quite like, it's like doing that.
Look like you were dancing like me, man.
So reverse tilts when they start going that way, that one's really hard. So great little tip if you're someone who struggles with that. Just get the club on your spine. So I can see that my club here is pointing slightly left of centre down at the bottom.
Yeah.
Make backswings where left shoulder goes lower than right, so don't just turn, that's a common one people do. So left shoulder goes lower than right like it would in a backswing, and try and feel like that club is staying within inside your foot line. So you see that club down is inside of my right foot?
Like that, yeah.
Well, if you're a kicker and then turn that way, which way the club goes?
Yeah.
Way outside of you.
Yeah.
What I see so much in people who get this reverse spine angle is you get a combination of two key faults. They're either here, then going that way at it, or they're there and then trying to kick back, getting really high handles kicking in. Getting your backswing in order so the angles balance encourages such a better delivery, a more consistent delivery for golfers. My experience with teaching for years, when you get this angle on the way back, two-way misses and big. And two-way misses are hard to deal with. So my final tip, and to be honest with you, this is the biggest one, the one that I see so many people for so long get wrong. If you're working on something in your backswing, it has to relate to impact. Now I say this out loud, in my garden, in front of this camera, and it just sounds so obvious, but you'll be amazed at the amount of lessons and golfers that I've spoken to over the years, and the amount of messages I get where people say, well, I need to do hit this position instead of this position, and then I get in this position and I do X, Y, or Z. With lessons, I always think, cool, that's brilliant, they've got it worked out. Show me, let's measure it, let's see what does happen when you hit your X, Y, or Z position. Oh. Not always the case, but more often than not, there's no difference in delivery because it's not influencing it. You've got to make sure that your backswing, whatever it is you're working on, so key culprits, first parallel, got to be in X position. Ray Floyd would argue very differently. Backswing's got to be set on this plane, not this plane or this plane. I know I could do a video on these things, it'll get searched, it'll get great traction. People who enjoy the information that you've got to get here, there or everywhere. But believe me, and I've seen it for years of coaching, as a coach, you used to teach people to get into those positions before the launch monitors come along, and it was so obvious that it was actually about delivery. That's kind of what you worked off, but it makes no difference to how to hit the ball. And as a coach, the only thing I'm trying to do for a student is make them better. If you are one of those people out there now, and I get them, come for lesson, what are you working on? I'm working on trying to get my takeaway more on the inside, and you say, okay, why? What's that doing? What's it fixing? What's it improving? You don't have the answer. Come on, chip in. Then I don't know what to suggest. You know, you've got to see the bigger picture. Make sure whatever you're working on in your backswing, from any of the points that we've made earlier, so all the other videos you're going to watch on backswing, and the secret to 5 secret tips to improving, there's no secrets. There's no secrets. It's got to be functional for you, with different shapes, with different abilities. Our brains work in different ways and we see it in different ways. Whatever you're trying to fix has to correspond with an improved impact, then in turn lower scores. Get your backswings functional. Thanks for watching, everyone. See you tomorrow. Push comments down below. Let me know if any of these help or they make you think differently. That's really what I want you to do. Be able to think in a way that helps you improve. Let me know what your triggers are for making your backswing better. Link down below. If you donate, you got a chance of winning that swag. And remember, you got to be a subscriber of the channel as well. Auntie Becky will be choosing one of those winners on Monday. Thanks for watching. Good luck with your backswings.